Hello, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Director's Cut, brought to you by the Directors Guild of America, featuring today's top directors sharing behind-the-scenes stories of their latest films and insights into the craft of directing. Please take a second to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. This episode takes us behind the scenes of director Nicole Holofcener's new comedic drama, The Land of Steady Habits. The film tells the story of Anders Hill, a man who feels trapped in the wealthy enclave of Westport, Connecticut. Seeking to renew his lust for life, he quits his job in finance and leaves his wife and family, but is quickly confronted with the harsh reality of his choices. In addition to The Land of Steady Habits, Ms. Holofcener's credits include the feature films Enough Said, Walking and Talking, Please Give, and Friends with Money, the pilot for the series One Mississippi, and episodes of the television series Orange is the New Black, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Parks and Recreation, 6 Feet Under, and Sex and the City. Following a recent screening of the film at the DGA Theater in New York, Ms. Holofcener spoke with director Greg Mottola about filming The Land of Steady Habits. During their conversation, Ms. Holofcener discusses why she chose Ben Mendelsohn as the lead character, why she likes to work with different DPs, and the changes she made when adapting the film's source novel.
Well, this is a real treat for me. I always wanted to meet Nicole.
We've known each other for many, many years.
It's like 30 years.
What
I
talk about.
Nicole knows I love her films and that I have aspired to and failed to make films in the same vein. For some cinema fans who love a great car chase, I love awkward, joyless sex scenes. So I feel like the perfect person to be doing this. First of all, I did not know about that Connecticut was called the Land of Steady Habits because I guess I didn't pay attention to the tri-state area growing up on Long Island.
Where have you been?
I know. So do you know what that even...
Well, it was the name of the book. I had no idea what it meant. And I've looked it up a few times. And, it's like in the 50s, I think. It was like this hamlet commuter town. And I guess the steady habits kind of referred to the commuting and the lifestyle and, I don't know.
Was it Westport?
Yes.
Yeah. With primarily female protagonists. Did this strike you as something you wanted to try? Or that didn't make a difference at all?
Well, it didn't really make a difference. And once I noticed that it was a male protagonist, and I thought, well, that's good because I've never had that, and maybe they can stop calling my movies chick flicks, if I have a guy in this front and center. And but it didn't really feel different in any other way. It didn't change how I directed it or thought about it or how I treated him.
Yeah, I mean, watching it, I kind of felt like if I were making a midlife malaise film, some kind of vanity or self-pity would creep into it. And I feel like you do a great job of presenting the character in a way, I mean, he's a very sympathetic actor.
Yes.
But you don't exactly, smooth over his flaws. He's a guy who's, at times hard to like and hard to forgive. And yet he remains compelling, and I really...
I hope so.
I admire that. I don't know if there's a question at the end of the statement. But what were you thinking?
What were you thinking?
What were you thinking when you were looking for who was going to play that
Well,
part?
I wanted him first choice. And because, he does have a likable personality as a person, and he has a tender face, I think, despite all the murderers and horrible people he's played in the past. And I didn't feel like we had to like him. I felt like we had to be happy to be watching it, at least, and watching what he's going through. And I didn't feel like you had to forgive him necessarily either, but to understand, have some understanding. I guess the forgiveness, that life goes on, and he's screwed up. But I don't know, Ben Mendelsohn, he's a great actor. I've loved everything he's been in. He has a great sense of humor. He Yeah, he's just got a vulnerability, I think, and he's really hot. So it was like the combination of all that seemed to be the right casting choice.
At first, I was thinking it's against type, but I think part of the reason he does play interesting villains is that, or fuck ups, is that he is so sympathetic and he has a lot of soul that comes out, and so it made a lot of sense to me. It let you go very far with his behavior, which was interesting, and I, once again, love movies where there's no good guys and bad guys, and everybody is basically equally fucked.
Oh, me too.
As a mother of two boys, when you read the book, did the subplot about the two sons really jump out to you as something you wanted to?
I don't remember initially, but of course, I'm sure I was drawn to that. I mean, it's, a mother's worst fear, this movie.
Yeah.
And
you filled me with, my kids are 9 and 11, and when I finished, I was filled with terror about the next decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should be. But you have 3, so there's more options.
Yeah,
more
that's true.
chances. Yeah, I mean, I just related to the parenting issues in that, I've made so many mistakes already, and my kids are only 21, and they've told me, what I've done to them. And it was pretty reasonable, but like, you try so hard and you still have no control over who they are and what they're going to do. And I related to that. I really did with Anders. Preston doesn't want to even hang out with him. Why should he? He's his dad. And his dad wants so bad to connect with him and can't. And, all that is very familiar, having children.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the midlife crisis idea that you think if you just made some gigantic, dramatic change in your life, it would fix everything and open up all these new opportunities. And we find him at the very beginning of the movie basically not having a clue what to do with himself as a human being, and he retired.
Yeah.
Left his family.
I think a lot of
He's
people
having a lot of
would
awkward, joyless sex.
Yeah. He's trying. But, the idea of retiring appealed to me too. I think everybody around this age thinks, okay, am I going to do this until I'm dead, or am I going to change it up, And then it's kind of like, well, what would I do? I don't want to leave my friends or my family or my kids, and then you realize, oh, I'm going to die this way. And it's not so bad,
Is it, for you, is it different adapting someone else's writing? I mean, it must be. I've done it, and those scripts did not get produced in my case. But it was nice that someone else did all the hard work first.
I agree completely. I don't know if you guys are writers too, but yeah, it's much easier.
There's something really nice about, oh, God, they worked this all out.
I know, exactly.
I just have to distill it.
Yeah, distill it, and also I added a lot of stuff, and he was great with it. He was fine.
Did you show him stuff? Did he weigh in just to be?
Yeah, he did, but he was very gracious and not controlling. It was more. I think he was more shocked, to see his first novel and these movie stars and my interpretation. Whatever he was thinking, it's not there mostly, and yeah, and it's easier. It is. It's, making stuff up from scratch is really hard for me.
This is purely a question that I want the answer to, is like, how do you start when you're writing your own stuff? How do you do it?
Yeah, okay. How do I do it? Well, I wait until I have a good idea, like even just the smallest idea.
Is it a plot? Is it a premise?
What do you
Think?
Not a plot. It's usually a character in a situation. And I didn't have to think about this one. But, like with Enough Said, I felt like, I have this boyfriend who has an ex-wife. And just imagine what she could tell me, what she knows. And, what my ex-husband would say about me. And I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting, and then I took it from there into making that. So I think, okay, I kind of like that idea. I'm going to go into a coffee shop and take notes, handwritten notes, and then after that, before I've really plotted it out, I start writing because I get bored. But you're supposed to act directing questions.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just selfish.
Okay.
I need writing help. You were profiled in the New Yorker. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The one thing, what's her name? Allie? What's the
Ariel Levy.
Ariel Levy. Which one thing she said that talking about your movies, it was very early on in the piece because it's as far as I got. No, I'm kidding. It said progress is incremental, ambiguous, tenuous with your characters, which is, I watch your stuff and I think that's exactly in the wheelhouse of what I most enjoy watching.
Oh, good.
And I also think of all of the notes I would get from producers and executives saying it needs to be more dramatic, it needs to be bigger.
Yeah. When I did Friends with Money, Sony Classics, they were great, but when I turned in my cut, they said, "Where's the last reel?" I'm like, you saw it. It didn't end the way, a normal movie ends.
Ambiguity.
Yeah. Sorry, did I throw you off?
No,
okay.
No. Do you...
No.
Do you... Okay, here's a directing question. Did you approach this any differently just as being your sixth movie, having done this a lot, having done a lot of television, which I know is a very different experience than directing your own writing. So was there some, whether it's a technical process thing, was there something that you said, I'm just going to do it this way, not the way I've done it before, in the way you shot it or the way you rehearsed it, or?
Not the way I rehearsed it. I always want my newest movie to look better than my last. I'm not the most visual person, and so I've worked with different DPs for that reason. And I did feel like this had more of a sense of place that was important to me, and beauty as well. And so I did want that to be heightened, and that different houses to be very heightened. But I'm always into that anyway. Otherwise, no. I mean, like once I decided to make it because I loved it, it became mine in my head. I didn't have anybody, even Ted Thompson or Netflix, having any input in it. So eventually I wanted it to feel as much of as my movie as the others.
When did you get the idea to start it with those images of Bed Bath & Beyond or whatever suburban hell that was?
Yeah. I don't remember. I spent too much time in Bed Bath & Beyond.
I relate.
Yeah, I don't know why. Returning things, buying. And, I guess it seemed like where a single man would go and feel completely inept because he's never had to do that before, buy towels even.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to say that like a handsome guy at 58 can sometimes just leave the house and get laid,
Yeah.
And that's what this guy does. And
but it's not true at all.
It's not?
No. No, well, for him, he's,
Yeah,
he's handsome.
he's hot.
Yeah. My wife agrees.
Yeah. But, that stuff wasn't in the book, and I really wanted a way to express who he was quickly. Having the sex, the book with the shame in it, which is kind of foreshadowing his own shame. And so I added that stuff. I don't know. When do you think of something, But I really like that opening, and I'm so glad they put it as the poster.
It's great.
Really
it's a great image, and the way he drops his head at the end, it says a lot.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah. No, it works really well.
Good.
How was Netflix? They're here tonight, so be careful.
It's like saying, how was it to work with the cast? Like, would anybody ever say anything honest? Although I am being honest. I am. I swear to God, because. Like I said before, they let me cast who I want. They let me do everything that I want. They gave me notes, like on a first cut, and they said, do some or don't do some, and I did some. Most of them I liked, and some of them were insane, of course, not really. And they incredibly supportive the whole way. I even finished the movie. It was locked, It was mixed, and I opened it back up to change a couple of things, and they let me do that. So in terms of hands-off, it's the best experience I've ever had, for sure. A trade-off, I guess, because now it's on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that, Tamara Jenkins told me the same thing about her experience with them, and that's cool. That's very cool. I wonder what it feels like.
Go to Netflix. Yeah. They'll have you.
Talk about directing television versus doing your own stuff.
Well, I'm lucky I get to pick the shows I want to work on. And so it doesn't feel like a chore, like I'm directing a commercial or something, that's really just for the money. So I like doing it, and it's really good because I don't make movies very often. So
yeah, it's fun being on set.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun also that the buck stops with someone else.
Yes, it's not my fault.
They're on the chopping block.
Yeah.
If the show gets terrible reviews, your name's not going to be in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, after every take, I got to turn around to the writer or the producer and say, "Can we move on? Are you happy with that?" And so I get used to that. It's okay, as long as we're all on the same page. And generally, we are, because they hired me because they know that I can do stuff that's similar to their show. And it's great because I'll meet new DPs and actors I've never worked with and want to work with in the future because I pick good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a really good gig. I'm glad I got into it.
Do you, I lost the question. What was it?
I don't know. It's okay.
It's
okay, right?
This is what it was. Do friends try and tell you should be creating your own TV shows? Because cinema's dying.
I don't know, not my friends, because they know that I probably wouldn't want to work that hard.
You don't think of your agents as your friends?
Oh, yeah, them. I do, actually. But, yeah, I think, I've thought about it, and I've actually tried once to make my own TV show, and it didn't happen, and I feel a little relieved because I've seen what showrunners do, and I just like the quality of my life too much. Not that it's so great, but it's my life. And, I want to have free time and be with my family and do other things.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah.
I have the same situation.
Good.
It's way too much work.
Yeah.
And I love movies.
And stress, really horrible stress. Yeah.
Is there, maybe we should open this up to questions. I'm not sure how long we've been talking, but do you have anything you want to say, Nicole?
I want to answer questions.
Okay, who has a question?
Hi. Oh. Yeah, I think so.
I guess I'm supposed to repeat the question.
Yeah.
Just that there's a point in the middle of the movie where this young lady was waiting for something to happen, and it did. And if that was something in the process of writing it that you felt yourself for Ben's
it's pretty
character.
methodical. Like this happens, and then that happens, and we get to know him, and then it's like something better happen. And it's weird because I didn't even write the story. And it's so much like my other movies, which sort of start off slow, and I think people wonder, like, what's going to happen? And then by the end of the movie, they say, wow, I didn't know it would be so powerful, or something like that. So I can't get away from my own weird style, but I'm glad something happened when you were ready for it, too. Good. Great.
Does anyone else have a question? The question was, how much did you deviate from the book?
I'll answer that one first because
Okay.
I'll inevitably forget the next one when I'm finished. I deviated a lot and not a lot. The whole plot, the drugs, the boat, the party, the divorce, the reveal at the end of Helene, all living in his car, finding the all that's the plot and the story. And a lot of the dialogue I kept, a lot. But I changed the ending a great deal. In the beginning, there were no extraneous female characters. There was no Barbara. There was no sex in the beginning of the movie, in the book. A lot of backstory was in the book that I had to get rid of, and I had to explain who Anders was in the beginning quickly. And so I made up that stuff about, the shopping and the women. But in the book, he couldn't get it up, so I stole that. And I guess, I don't know if he The turtle was absolutely in the book, you know, a huge part of it, obviously. And the ending I changed. In the book, he ended up going upstate to buy the decrepit B&B that he worked at as a college student and had a lot of sentimental memories of that time. And he goes up there to renovate it and run it. And then I think I heard Dustin Hoffman in an interview, like while I was writing it, and someone said, well, like, are you going to keep acting? And he's like, what am I going to do? You know, buy a B&B in upstate New York and live there? And I was like, I guess that's a cliche. And I was already having, you know, a little bit of a sinking feeling. It works in the book. It's lovely, but I had to change it.
And the other part of the question was, if I'm understanding it correctly, is how much, you know, came out of the process of working with the actors and really diving into it. And I mean, I know socially Elizabeth Marvel and Bill Camp, they're wonderful actors. They're like two of the best stage actors alive and doing a ton of work now in TV and movies. I love them in the film. And I thought they really, you know, without a lot of screen time, everyone really lands.
They do. I mean, Bill and Elizabeth, I don't think I met them until they came on the set, literally. At the table read, I met them because I just cast them, and they didn't need much. I mean, all of the actors really didn't need that much discussing. I would say that editorially, it really was in the editing room, who to be on when and who to focus on and whose movie is this, and you know that Christmas dinner scene was really hard. I wished I'd had more coverage, a lot more coverage to capture a lot more nuance. But I think it works anyway. I just had one day to do it, and it was hard. But I don't know. You know, I tend to direct as we're going along because I've cast really well, and they know what they're doing. They don't ask that many questions, but I'll go in and tweak them, and you know, this is not supposed to be. You know, just little things like that, because they were all so good, I thought.
Anyone else? Sir?
Yeah.
The other question is, why did you reopen the film? What the hell?
Well, yeah. I have always felt, and as directors, I bet you feel this way, we shouldn't have to finish the movie quickly because you have such greater perspective 6 months later, right? Like, you watch it and it's like, oh, I never should have made that cut. So I actually didn't see it for about 2 months, which is very dangerous. And I thought there was too much music. Loved the music, loved the composer, but I think it was giving some scenes the wrong vibe. And Netflix loved the music. Everybody loved it. It was fine, but I didn't. And they let me open it up and remix the music, which is a fortune. I guess we had a contingency or something left over. But that was really good. I'm really glad.
That's great. Have you ever had dreams about recutting something you finished? I have.
You have?
Recurring dreams, yeah.
Are they nice? They're nice, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No, they're nightmares that I have to fix something.
Oh.
But yeah, I know what it's like to go away and come back and say, ugh.
Yeah, but you have to finish it right away. It would really benefit, I think, from perspective. All movies would.
If you
like, why is this 2.5 hours long? What was I thinking?
Yeah. Well, the Coen brothers, when they did a director's cut of their first movie, Blood Simple, they took 11 minutes out. Usually director's cuts, they come in and stick in another 25 minutes of shit.
Yeah,
and
that's really funny.
And they were just like, oh my God, that shot's too long.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's good. Probably worked.
Anybody else?
No. I can do it, I think. Was I saying anything about the parenting styles of the two sets of families? Like, did Charlie die or was Charlie addicted to drugs and so unhappy because he had such cold parents? And Preston had loving parents. I don't blame either. I don't blame those people. I don't, because parenting is just so hard. And they thought, tough love was the way. And it's sort of a crapshoot, because I know some really wonderful parents, and their kids are really fucked up and rebellious, and terrible parents, and their kids turn out fabulous. So I wasn't trying to say like a thing like that. I'm glad the parenting styles are so different for the sake of entertainment, you know. They are so different. And that particular character of Charlie, I guess that was not the right medicine for him. They're not the right parenting cocktail for him. Yeah. How did basically Netflix get this project, and how did it work? Is that sort of? It was actually, I had the book and shopped it around, and a studio bought it and paid me to write it, and they were going to make it, and we spent, I don't know, a year and a half trying to cast it. And because they wanted only really big stars. And it was really frustrating. And I said, okay, I'm not going to make it, you know. I offered it to a few big stars, ones that I'd be okay with or happy with, but not my first choice. And they passed. And then I just said, forget it. I'm putting it in a drawer. And my producer said, you know, I snuck it to Netflix, and they love it, and they want to make it. What do you think? I'm like, great. Because I'd rather make it for Netflix, obviously, than not make it or make it bad. So that's what happened. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Nicole.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks for listening to another DGA Q&A. If you'd like to hear more, you can find past episodes of The Director's Cut wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll have a lot more for you in the coming weeks as award season approaches, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please like, share, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time. This podcast is produced by the Directors Guild of America. Music is by Dan Wally.